You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast, where we have some Asia Cup action to talk about. Siraj on fire, destroyed Sri Lanka. So we'll be talking that, a little bit of Pakistan injury news, and Heinrich Klaasen, not in the Asia Cup, but it would have been fun if he was. I think Heinrich Klaasen being in the Asia Cup would have improved the overall product.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I say. So, I don't know, maybe Sri Lanka can make a deadline day move and bring him in. I don't know, trade him for somebody. Max, we're also going to talk about Manscaped, so we will get to that after the Asia Cup. But a little prelude, you can use the code CricketPod for 20% off at manscaped.com. Did you want to summarise the Asia Cup final, or did you want me to do that?
I can do it, but it won't take long.
Okay, well, you do the first innings, and I'll do the second innings.
Right. So Sri Lanka having should we mention the how they got there in the first place?
We absolutely should. We absolutely should. I'll do this game because this was one of the best ODIs I've seen since the last World Cup. It was genuinely, it was off the fucking chain. This match. Also, if you look at the result, it says 252 plays 252. Sri Lanka win by 2 wickets.
Yeah,
it had a bit of everything. Anyway, the reason for that is there was a deluge, and so Pakistan batting first had their number of overs reduced to 42. It looked like they were majorly in trouble when they were 130 for 5 after 27 of those overs. And then Iftikhar and Rizwan put on 108, and Rizwan went a little bit further. And they posted what was a pretty good 252, to be honest. Like it looked like that was going to be a winning score. Second innings, Sri Lanka, it's kind of a middling start, and then they put a bit of a partnership together, and they get up to 177 for 3 with 12.2 overs left. So not very long. They need 80 off 12 overs with 7 wickets left, or 8 wickets before that wicket falls. And you're thinking, this is in the bag. I switched it on. I was like making some dinner, and I was like, look, it's the last 12 overs of an ODI, a semi-final effectively. Like what can possibly go wrong? I'll enjoy it either way. And what went wrong is that Sri Lanka collectively lost their minds. There was some of the most, they were in a position of such comfort with Kusal Mendes and Samara Wickrama at the crease. It was absolutely cruising to victory, and then they both get out, and it's just a complete domino effect to the other end. There's a run out in there. I'll get to the run out in a minute, but Shaheen Afridi comes into the attack. He's taking wickets, and it looks like Pakistan are going to win. It goes right down to the last 6 balls, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was 8 off the last over, or was it 9 off the last over? Sri Lanka is basically the only hope for Sri Lanka here. Everybody else has just completely forgotten how to play cricket. There are guys coming in when they need a runner ball and trying to hit the first ball into the Bay of Bengal. Bowled. Like that sort of nonsense. It's just like, lads, all you need to do is get bat and ball here and run, and you're going to win. Final over, the wrong guy's on strike. He manages to get himself off strike after a couple of balls, and so it becomes, I think, 8 off 4. And then there's another, and they take another run, and so he's at the wrong end. And then with 3 balls to go, they try and run a by, except the guy who's batting. And this is, I don't know what's going on here. Although some people have been saying this is a 1,000 IQ cricket play. Madhushan, that's his name. He's batting. He takes a massive yahoo at the third last ball. Stands there at his crease as Sri Lanka runs up and is standing next to him. And only then does the guy decide to run. Obviously, he's run out by absolutely miles. Rizwan underarms the ball to the bowler, who bravely throws the stumps, does to Stuart Broad. He's like a good 5 yards away, but it hits them, and it's a run out. Everyone's saying, why didn't he run? Like, try and take the run. Then everyone's thinking, hold on a minute, maybe he stayed in his crease so that
make sure he couldn't throw the striker's end.
Yeah, so that Sri Lanka would definitely get on strike. If you looked at his face and sort of what was going on, it looked like sheer terror.
And what we'd seen from Sri Lanka up to that point.
Yeah. So the benefit of the day is not in his favour as far as I'm concerned. But if he did mean to do it, kudos. So it comes down to 6 off the last 2 balls. Sri Lanka, massive swing, and he gets an edge that goes through like basically second slip. Goes away for 4 runs, and it's 2 off 2 balls, or 2 off the last ball to win the match. It's like a pure 50-50. Sri Lanka, he keeps his cool. There's like a massive delay here as well. I can't like I have no idea why, but it takes them about 5 minutes to roll this ball. They're like moving fielders around. Pakistan only had 3 in the circle when he started to begin his run up, and they were like, "Holy shit! Like, let's not lose that way.
Let's not lose, not like this."
Yeah. So they bring the guy up into the circle, except for some reason they've just left like the whole of the field on the leg side empty behind square. And so Sri Lanka walks across his crease, just flicks it around the corner, and they take a pretty easy 2. Very good batting for Sri Lanka, I would say, and calmness under pressure. Although he literally did have 5 minutes to decide like what he was going to do. Yeah, so Pakistan, they ended up dumped out. They had no right to win that game, and then they had won the game. They'd literally won it, basically. And yeah, then they're out. So it goes to the final, which is fair to say wasn't as good. Sri Lanka, they bat first, and I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, batting would be a very generous way of putting it. Jack, you asked me last week whether I thought Sri Lanka's batting was good enough. My short answer was no, and they duly proved that to all who were watching.
Their short answer was also no.
Their short answer was very short. Mohammad Siraj, completely unplayable, or Sri Lanka can't bat. Close their eyes. One of the two. I'll let you decide. But as it happened, Siraj ended up with 6 for 21, while Hardik Pandya came back to take some nice, easy death wickets and finish up with 3 for 3 just for a laugh. And it was 50 all out. The less said about that, the better. 2 players made double figures. That's 3 players fewer than scored 0. So that's good effort. And then it was over to India to chase it down. A tricky target on a tough wicket. It lasted 6 overs and 1 ball, and it was a procession.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive from India.
It was very impressive from India, especially because they lost the Bangladesh game, didn't they? Which we kind of glossed over. And I was sort of thinking, how have they played? How have all these teams played an Asia Cup, and all of them slightly disappointed? Like nobody has, come out of this with really any credit in the bank, and then India do this in the final. And obviously, the narrative changes slightly. Siraj was brilliant. 4 wickets in his first over. I think it was his first over. Some pretty suspect Sri Lanka batting, I'd say. 3 of them in the innings just hitting the ball in the air straight at point. Not even really trying to score a boundary, just like there you go, straight to point.
Yeah, catching practice.
Where you traditionally have the worst fielder in international cricket. So yeah, it wasn't a thriller. If you're an India fan, it was really good fun. Unless you were one of those people who was unfortunate enough to be having a lie-in this country and missed the whole thing. It was good. Siraj, extremely intense. Like he was really, really up. I mean, he's always up for it, but really up for it in this one. I don't know if you were watching live. But his hat-trick ball in the over he took 4. It was flicked through mid-wicket because they put like a bazillion slips in. It was flicked through mid-wicket. It was easy 4. And Siraj chased after it himself, like full pelt 70-meter sprint to try and cut this 4 off that he had no hope of getting to. I was just like, they're 9 for 5 or something, mate. Like, the game is over.
Yeah, there's a level
tomorrow.
There's a level of intensity that is too far, and that is it.
That's why we like Siraj, though. He brings something to the game.
He's a character.
Yeah. Lanka didn't really have much. Bit of a shame. I don't think we learned too much. Probably a bit of a bad day at the office for them, and an extremely good one for Siraj, who bowled a couple of absolute pearlers in his spell as well. Had the ball swinging both ways. Bumrah picked up a wicket too. He's back. Remember him? Shaping up well for India. Have you seen India over the last, I think it's 2 years, have a lower bowling average over a 2-year period than any team in ODI cricket ever. Like
Really?
it's wickets galore for India at the moment.
Yeah.
So
No, they're looking good.
Yeah.
Things are coming together. And we were talking last time about whether maybe the batting was a little uninspiring in the sense that it's going to be very good at scoring 300, 325. Maybe won't be especially powerful. We won't see the huge fireworks that maybe we want to see. But if you have the lowest bowling average over a 2-year period in ODI cricket in history, then who needs to score more than 300? Could be a winning formula.
Well, exactly.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
Big favourites.
They're looking good. They're looking pretty good. Yeah, I'd say they're favourites. I wouldn't. I still don't necessarily think big. I think most of the better betting markets say India about, if you want to get really into the numbers, I think it's about 29% India, 23% England, 17% Australia are the three favourites. And we have seen World Cups where the favourite has been 40%. So England in 2019, and I think Australia back in the day might have even been over 40%.
Australia forever.
Yeah, so it's not. They are favourites, but it's not by any stretch a kind of done deal. Do you want to talk? Mentioned Australia there, and they're kind of playing their 1.5th team.
Yes,
first point. You know what I mean? Like it's nearly the team, but it isn't the team. Against South Africa, who last week you were saying dark horses, and I was saying light horses. No, they're actually good. Are they peaking too early? Because it's they've just since the last time we talked, they've hit 400 and 300 against Australia. I think they've beaten Australia by 200 and 150 runs or something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a massacre. Klaasen, I mean, this was nuts. Him and David Miller had a partnership, 200 runs and 87 balls max. It's the fastest. Obviously, it's the fastest 200-run partnership in ODI cricket ever. It's 14 and over they scored at, which was 4 runs and over quicker. 4 runs and over quicker than the next best 200-run partnership. I mean, it's nuts that there was a 200-run partnership at 10 and over, but they've gone beyond that. They're looking hot. Really,
it was mind-blowing. It was an absolutely mind-blowing performance. The highlights reel is basically a ball by ball of Heinrich Klaasen's innings. That's the level we're talking. It was insane. Obviously, it's not Australia's first choice bowling attack. It's missing obviously Cummins, Stark, and what have you. But Josh Hazlewood's there. Adam Zampa's there. He'll be the first choice spinner. He racked up a ton. 113, no wickets, 10 overs. That's not great. Not great stats. It was incredible performance. I mean, if you wanted 2 guys, I think, in your side to finish a game off based on form in T20s, for example, in the last year and a half, I think Heinrich Klaasen and David Miller probably. Heinrich Klaasen for sure is the first name you're writing down. It is stellar. Like, he is going from strength to strength. Every time you see him play, you wonder whether he can sustain it, and he's just proving to be an absolutely world-class talent.
Force.
That was a force, and I really hope we get to see him do something at this World Cup. It'll need a bit of a platform. He can't be coming in 20 overs in trying to build the innings. I think we want exactly what we saw from those two in that game, where they came in like the 35th over and went ballistic. Obviously, this isn't going to happen again, but that's exactly what you're looking for from those two. And they're the kinds of players that you look at this South Africa side and you think, yeah, they can do some damage and they will hurt people. It's but it's one thing doing it in Centurion, another thing doing it in India. So we'll see whether it can translate. But like we said last time, they've got plenty of experience in the IPL. So I'm bullish on South Africa. I like them.
Yeah, they're looking pretty tasty. I think there's a lot to like about this side. Australia, they suffered a big blow head with a fractured hand. Another one of those guys. I think they're going to take him to the World Cup, but they expect him to miss. They've said the first half of the group stage. You've seen batters bat with a broken bone in their hand before, but
It's not ideal.
2 weeks, 3 weeks away from the start of the tournament. It probably will be a month or so before he's really comfortable and has had time to sharpen up in the nets and stuff. So, problem for them. South Africa win that series 3-2 for anyone that counts that stuff, which is kind of nobody. But there we go. And final thing of note, Max, is we never really talk about county cricket, but Leicestershire have won the One Day Cup for the first time in 38 years, beating Hampshire in the final. It was a pretty good game, actually. It went down to the last over, last ball, in fact. And Leicestershire, they held on by just 2 runs. Did you enjoy that? Did you catch any of it?
They recovered from 19 for 4 as well, didn't they? It was a real comeback win. So yeah,
look
nice
and learn,
for them.
Sri Lanka.
Well done. See what happens when you get rid of Dan Weston as your analyst.
Yeah,
and moves county. Suddenly the silverware comes rolling in, eh? Well done to them. The only thing I would say is I'm very down on their kit. The Leicestershire.
Do you not like it?
It's pretty unpleasant.
No.
I think bit clashy for me. I think where Oval Invincibles have got it absolutely spot on in terms of loads of garish colours that have absolutely no right to go together, but actually you look at it and it's sort of like one of those drumsticks from the sweet packet, and you're like, you know what, this works. I like it. Leicestershire's just the complete opposite. Yeah, they've just basically like got dressed in the dark and come out looking ridiculous. But it's not a fashion show, is it? It's cricket. And well done to them.
Yeah, Harry Swindle's the hero with an unbeaten ton in that first innings. Max, that's it for the cricket podcast.
Harry Swindle's Hampshire out of a victory.
Yeah, very good. I think that is it this week. Anything from you that you'd like to mention? Oh, there's two more things I have actually. Anything from you?
Well, I was just going to say Manscaped, obviously.
Oh yes, do Manscaped. Then there's
20% off. It's got very autumnal outside in the UK. I don't know if you've noticed, Jack. You live very close to me. Did you get woken up at about 3 a.m. by the biblical storm that we had?
Oh my goodness! I've never seen anything like it. There was thunder.
It was like strobe lights outside, like flashing every second.
3 a second. 3 a second is the lightning strike rate in London last night.
And it was literally like someone was just standing at my window with a hose, just spraying it on full power.
Yeah.
It was bananas.
I woke up and was videoing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't get any good videos.
That'd be interesting. But what that means is obviously it's autumn. Autumn season's here, and with autumn season, you should shave your balls because that's what Manscaped wants you to do, and that's what we want you to do with their products because they're really good. It's fresh ball fall. The weather's fresh after the storm, and your balls can be fresh too if you head over to Manscaped and use the code CricketPod for 20% off and free shipping. You
can also sharpen up the old ball upstairs. I'm talking about your head, your neck ball. The head, neck ball with the beard hedger, which I've been enjoying. Probably trim up myself tomorrow morning with that. So a couple of options for you there, Max. Last 2 things I wanted to say. It would be remiss of us to not mention Dahani flying in and then flying out, called up as a replacement for Naseem Shah in the Asia Cup. Pakistan expecting to make it to the final. He touched down to find out that Pakistan had in fact lost to Sri Lanka. And but look, at least he had some friends for the flight home, you know?
Just came to pick the guys up.
Yeah, exactly. And also Pakistan news, a real crushing blow for them. Naseem Shah out of the World Cup, and they think injured until after the PSL. So a bad shoulder injury for the young pacer there. Unlikely to travel to Australia for their test series. That's a bit of a shame. That is a bit of a shame. Max, we are done. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the Cricket Podcast wherever you consume your content, and we will be back. I want to do a Q&A show. Maybe we'll try and get that in for later in the week. Goodbye, everyone.